Question 2. What is tranquil breath, and how one gets and maintains it? What is the purpose and benefits of tranquil breath to a spiritual aspirant or sadhaka? Answer. Maya is a manifested form of God, the Almighty, the Brahma. Maya is called Brahma, and Brahma in his manifested form is Maya. Human body or form is also Maya, the illusion. To take care of the human body or form, continuously subtle energy is needed. This energy is drawn from the cosmos in the form of breath. One breathes about 10 to 15 times a minute, rate of breathing. Without this, a jiva cannot survive even for a few moments. The breath supplies subtle energy to the physical body, which basically contains in subtle form fine elements that are earth, solid food, water, air, ether, Akasha pranic energy, and fire, heat energy, that regenerate the human system. Thus, Brahma or Maya look after the human body through the subtle energy in the form of breath. Breath takes care of all the functions of the body including physical, subtle and spiritual. Awareness of breath is a subtle spiritual technique that helps to ascend the sadhaka's soul to the highest level to supernal. This is nothing but the Sandhya Gayatri technique. This teaches a sadhaka just to be with the breath and dissolve into the breath, and then breath ceases to exist and gets suspended gradually, then one gets merged with the spirit, and a complete peaceful state, a silence state of God's realization is experienced. The breath executes 99% functions of physical nature only. The breath can be basically divided into two broad categories, firstly horizontal breath and secondly tranquil breath. Most of the times a human being takes horizontal breath and does all worldly activities. Tranquil breath only helps him to do the transcendental activities, spiritual activities that create peace of mind. Horizontal breath nourishes senses, body, and accomplishes all earth-born activities through the human form. On the contrary, tranquil breath helps mergence of soul with the supernal. This breath tries to separate the consciousness gradually to help the soul for mergence with the supernal. Tranquil breath enhances the spiritual functions, but horizontal breath enhances mental functions, body functions, and all mundane worldly activities. Tranquil breath keeps a human being vigilant, alert, and makes him godly or davic or divine by intentions or nature. This magnetizes human cells with spiritual energy so as to facilitate the microcosm to merge with macrocosm. Now, one understands clearly what is horizontal breath and what is tranquil breath. Horizontal breath is that breath which flows either through moon nadi or left nostril or through sun nadi or right nostril. It goes on changing periodically and is attuned with the inner system of an individual. Tranquil breaths flow simultaneously without any resistance from both sun and moon nadis that are left and right nostrils. Sometimes partly one nostril is working and sometimes both are partly opened. This is the state of partial tranquil breath, but not the perfect tranquil breath. In horizontal breath sometimes it is half of the earth element and the rest half consists of other elements including water, fire, air and Akasha. Similarly, if half is water constituent, that rest are other elements put together. At times it is 50% Akasha elements and 50% all other elements consisting of earth, water, air and fire. But if there is perfect tranquil breath, it consists of only Akasha elements and no other elements. The Akasha element is generated directly from Udana Praana in the system, which ascends through the spinal cord by Sushumna Nadi to the Kutrasha Chaitanya center to Sahasrara, and then to the apex center. This creates spirituality in the human being and makes him a divine personality. No other type of breath has this capacity to generate Udana Prana directly. Akasha element of breath and Udana Prana are easily convertible. Only the Akasha element of breath can generate this, and tranquil breath is full of Akasha element and nothing else. Tranquil breath is a Shavasana breath. It is Uttav Mulam and it is the only breath which is Akash Mulam and can go to Akasha. It is a sky-born breath. Whereas horizontal breaths need to be compressed and strike in the Udana to generate Udana Prana. In tranquil breath, Akasha constituent is major, so Udana Prana automatically appears in the system of the spiritual aspirant. Tranquil breath consisting of the Akasha element is like an engine and other elements of the breath are just bogies. They don't have capacity to drive, whereas tranquil breath with Akasha constituents is always in forefront to evolve the spiritual nature of the sadhaka in an accelerated manner. It makes the Jivatma a noble soul with time. If the breath is not tranquil, then residue is left in the nostrils. These residues are nothing but the earth or Prithvi elements or tattva. Running nose of a person indicates that he has more water tattva or element. Blood coming from the nostril indicates Agni tattva, that shows excessive heat in the body. If the breath is tranquil, it prepares the body in a natural way for higher journey. Mind, intellect, and consciousness prepare due to the tranquility of the system to take up higher journeys and become spiritual gradually in course of time if breath is tranquil most of the time. Tranquil breath is Yoga Kriya. Every sixth breath cycle after 5 horizontal breath cycles, is partially tranquil and gives the divine effect to the human system and keeps his mind generally under peace. Sometimes after 9 horizontal breath cycles, one tranquil breath cycle appears. If one spends more time in Aum Japa or other spiritual practices, the frequency of the appearance of earth or horizontal breaths are minimized and frequency of tranquil breaths are increased. If one sleeps with the tranquil breath, that is with more Akasha elements, then most likely when he gets up, he will be having the similar tranquil breath. Tranquil breath is the precursor for evolution and to make progress in meditation. Tranquil breath acts as a fuel for Udana Praana and helps Udana Praana to ascend from Kula Chakra. After ascending the life force or Udana Prana unto Kutkasha Chaitanya, the role of breath is diminished. At this Triveni junction, the inner soul takes over and performs onward ascents to apex center. At Turiya state and Super Turiya state or super conscious state, there is no role of tranquil breath. The outcome of tranquil breath is to give mental peace. It gives transcendence that pays dividends at this stage apart from the generation of Udana Praana. Tranquil breath gives Sat Agni to the Sadhaka. It gives Prana Shakti and Chida Agni to the Sadhaka to ascend up to Triveni junction within no time with Sahaj Bhava without any struggle and less efforts on the horizontal plane. The above explains the origin, purpose and benefit of tranquil breath to a human being and particularly to spiritual aspirants for ascending of prana and mergence of soul with supernal.